Hello, Libra. This is going to be your love reading for November 15th to December 1st, 2021. Sometimes I will forget what month it is, and I will forget who I am, so please ignore that. And let's move on into some readings here. So this will be, like I said, love reading. So let's see what we can find out for you, Libra, using the True Love Oracle deck here. I'm going to be shuffling these cards here. Maybe even a little truffle shuffle thrown in for good measure, but primarily it's just going to be regular shuffles, okay? So don't get too excited. Let's see what we can come up with for Libra. Oh, I forgot to log into the chat. Have to do this every time. So hold on. All right, there we go. And there we go again. Okay, that works. That works. All right, a few shuffles. Let's do 3 shuffles. Let's do 3 shuffles and do the hokey pokey. All right, so we're gonna do 3 cards here. I'm glad you guys can't see me shuffle. You would be embarrassed. Or I would be embarrassed. Okay, so let's do one more shuffle. Okay. Here we go. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Okay, Libra. So, first card we get for Libra is we get the Sacred Woman. Okay? This is a really good card. The Sacred Woman, I'll look at this right here. You'll notice she's holding her hand up, and there is a green heart in her hand, okay? The green heart can represent earth, it can represent the heart chakra. Rearrange the letters in heart, and it spells earth. You know, rearrange the letters in earth, and it doesn't spell heart, so that's weird. No, I'm just kidding, it does. But this right here is showing that the woman is holding her hand up. There's this beautiful energy in there. It's showing that she's soft, she's kind, you know, she's this beautiful energetic force, but she also knows when something is not for her. She is saying, this is not for me. You know, please react in a way, or please treat me with kindness. I won't put up with disrespect. The Sacred Woman says, I know I'm sacred. I know how I am and the energy that I have, and I want it to be received as something that is sacred, right? And I want to be treated as such. Just like anyone with advice, knowledge, or wisdom, or even just anyone in general wants to be treated with basic respect. This woman is asking for something where it's like, please hear what I have to say. I want to help. I want to be this for you, okay? Fitting for Libra, because Libra is about balancing those scales, okay? Those scales that we're talking about, those are the black and white. Those are kind of the duality construct in a way, okay? Or karmic action, whatever you would want to call it. Yes. Don't know why I said that, but okay. Then we have the Rainbow Reviver right here. This is about rekindling passion inside of yourself. So this could be with a relationship. Maybe there's a renewed interest. I would almost say that you're getting back together with someone you've been in a relationship before. Maybe things didn't end the way you wanted them to, and so you're giving it another shot now, okay? But I'm going to move on to the next card here. But the Rainbow Reviver is just that it's a reviving of the rainbow. So it's like possibly bringing in a relationship again, possibly being in that kind of energy. And it's up to you how you want this to be received, right? It's up to you how you would want to go about having a relationship. And the Rainbow Reviver is saying that, and I keep saying this because I mean it, you get to have all the power. You get to have all the control. Sometimes people will say you don't. But what's really interesting is that one person in a relationship, okay, and I don't know if you guys know this, one person in a relationship has 50% of the power. Seriously. And depending on how we act with that, depending on the accordance that we follow or don't, the power dynamic of the relationship can change. But in this scenario, it's up to you if you want to let people in. These two cards right here, the Sacred Woman and the Rainbow Reviver, beautiful cards. Really, really good cards to have, actually. I feel like there's a sense of almost like a motherly energy, or like a very, very kind patriarchally patriarchy energy. I don't want to say that. Patriarchal energy, I guess. It could be a very kind energy with that. So it could be a kind male energy too. But it could also be with, you could be in a relationship with someone where this person doesn't know you, really. Maybe when you were in a relationship with them before, you didn't let them in, and then things kind of fell apart. And now this person is feeling weary of you, possibly. Okay. But there's a sense of contentment. There's a sense of being able to move forward and to grow. But you have to let this happen. You have to let things happen organically and not try to force a union or a relationship, right? I feel like that's going to be the best thing. That's going to be one of those things that helps you more than anything else. Otherwise, you're going to look at taking a step back. Now, then we have this card. This is intimacy in reverse. Okay? Intimacy in reverse is just like it sounds. There ain't nothing going on here. It's kind of a dry spell. So other things could be happening, things could be going well, but maybe when it comes to that vulnerable part of being sexually intimate with your partner, or even being mentally or emotionally intimate with your partner, there can be a sense of holding yourself back in such a big way. I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna look in the camera instead of over here. All right. So when we're talking about intimacy, when we're talking about being in a relationship with someone, in order for someone to be in a relationship with anyone else, there has to be vulnerability, and there has to be connections through the vulnerabilities. You don't get in a relationship with someone and both of you are wearing armor and you have a good relationship. There has to be vulnerability. A lot of times one person is vulnerable and the other person has a sword, and they cut that person that's vulnerable, right? And that's what leads to betrayals. That's what leads to those kinds of relationships. But it's important for both of us to put the swords down, to put the armor away, and to be us, okay? We don't want to bring anything else with us into the bedroom or otherwise. We want to leave that stuff outside. We want to leave that stuff outside because intimacy is much more important. But we have to be vulnerable in order to be intimate. There is no intimacy without vulnerability as well. There can be sex without vulnerability, but that to me is not intimacy. Intimacy is wanting to explore your partner's mind, wanting to explore your partner's emotional world. And if we can't do that, then we're kind of missing the point, right? Okay, so let's look a little bit further into these cards, and let's use the Fountain Tarot. Sorry, that was anticlimactic. I should have drawn that out a little bit more. But let's see what we got here. Let's see what's going on here for Libra, and we'll go from there. All right. Let's do 2 more shuffles for Libra. And I'm just going to put a card underneath each of these True Love Oracle cards. Maybe some of you in this relationship, maybe some of you even knew this person was going to be coming back. And maybe you knew what to do. You knew how to try in the relationship again, or you knew kind of how to focus on this. But it feels like we're walking around this endeavor, and we're almost viewing it like it's an experiment rather than putting ourselves in there. So maybe, Libra, it's you that's not being vulnerable and open this time around, right? And if that's the case, I'm not trying to shame you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I just want you to know that if you are wearing armor and you're expecting someone to hug you, be aware that you're not going to be able to feel that, okay? You have to be raw. You have to be vulnerable in order to feel that your partner or that someone cares about you. We have to put ourselves out there to feel that. If we don't do it, how can we expect to feel it? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so let's do this. Let's put the cards down here. So we have All right. So the Sacred Woman. We have the Six of Wands in reverse. And it looks like she's in pain. Or he's in pain, but he's laughing. It's kind of hard to see. But when I see this in reverse underneath Sacred Woman, maybe either us or another person was not respecting our sacredness, or there could be a sense of wanting to have fun, wanting to play, wanting to do something, and maybe another person doesn't understand how to do that. You could be with someone who is very like one way of thinking, and it's really hard for them to snap out of that way of thinking. And you could be someone who changes daily, which I think is a beautiful thing. I think if we're changing and we're reinventing ourselves daily, that's beautiful. But sometimes you get stuck with a very, very stubborn earth sign, okay, like myself. And it's difficult for us to change. It's difficult for us to go with the water signs, with the air signs, with the fire signs. Any one of those can change. But by golly, earth signs made, we got the Grand Canyon. I mean, that was made by water. But we have the earth, okay? We have the earth as a whole. So earth signs win. But Libra, right here, it's important to realize if you're in a relationship where you're scared to let yourself be vulnerable, then why are you doing it? Why are you in that? I understand the fear of rejection, the fear of someone rejecting you to what you feel like is your core is probably the reason why you have armor on in the first place. But it doesn't protect you. It does not protect you. It's a subtle form at first. It's a subtle form of self-sabotage because you're constantly putting a barrier in between you and another person, and you're calling it protection. But what it actually is it's like putting on a condom on your whole body. You're not going to be able to feel anything. You're not going to be able to have any of that effect. Okay? So let's move on to this part. Then we have the Rainbow Reviver. Okay? And we have the King of Wands in reverse. All right, so Rainbow Reviver, King of Wands in reverse. We're wanting to start something new. We're wanting to be passionate. We're wanting to have that. But something is stopping us. So maybe there's a fire sign. Actually, there could be. Because we have Six of Wands, which is fire. And then we have King of Wands, which is a significator, I think is what you call it. Signifier, basically. This is a card that can represent any of the fire signs, like Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. But it's a card that can be, when it's in reverse, it could be that the passion, maybe other things are moving forward, but the passion is gone. Hence why intimacy was in reverse over here. And that can be hard to work with. It's not impossible, but it's kind of like both of you in the relationship need to look at what needs to be worked on. And maybe in a gentle way, you need to talk about it. There needs to be something that's brought up where there can be some resolution here. Because if the passionate part of the relationship is on the back burner, and you're armored up to the nines, right? You're not being vulnerable about anything else, and there's no passion and there's no interest in that way. How can someone connect with you, right? And then if we get mad at the other person for trying to connect with us, but it's not working, right? We get mad at ourselves because we can't let our guard down. It's important for us to realize why we're putting our guard up in the first place. Okay, and then we have intimacy in reverse right here. And we have the Moon card in reverse, okay? Intimacy, like I've said, into me I see, right? That's the whole thing. If someone can't see into themselves, they're not going to be able to see into you. And someone can only meet you as far as they've met themselves, right? So that's something that we can talk about here. But the Moon in reverse right here, the Moon is a feminine symbol. The Moon affects the tides. It affects the tidal waves of the earth. Hey D, how are you doing? But because the Moon affects the tides, because the Moon affects that kind of thing, it's more subtle. It's more of a subtle pull. You don't see strings pulling on the water, right? The Moon just affects the gravitation, and the gravitation hits the fluid of the earth and it makes it so there's movement, right? But it's a subtle sign. It's a hidden kind of sign. Now, with the Moon in reverse on intimacy, to me, this is saying that we are feeling guarded. And when I say we, I feel like Libra. You are feeling guarded. You are, and I keep talking about this. I'm seeing us wearing armor because we're scared of getting broken bones. We're scared of getting scratched. but life is messy. And sometimes things have to break for us to get better. Sometimes things have to happen for us to get better. I can give you an example right now. Okay. I heard a story recently. Someone was wrestling. They were doing a wrestling competition. And the person took them and they accidentally stepped on their head, right? Like hard. They stepped on their head really hard. They went to the hospital. And when that person went to the hospital, right where the person stepped, there was a tumor that was starting to grow. And it was pretty good size and it was cancerous. If that person didn't have the injury happen there, they wouldn't have found the tumor. Sometimes bad things can be really good things in disguise because that person is still alive today. So that's kind of that scenario where bad things can turn into good things. Okay, so that's kind of what we're talking about here. So let yourself be vulnerable. Let yourself be open to the possibility of connection. And if you're not feeling like you can do that, then at least be neutral with it. At least kind of see where it's going. Have fun with it. Play with it. Have that be something you can do. So that's going to be your reading, Libra. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And please like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. And I'm going to be going to Pisces now. And D, I'll probably see you on Pisces at some point. I don't know. I'm going to take a break for about 10-15 minutes, but I'll come back and I'll do the rest of the signs. Maybe 20 minutes. But I'll come back to the rest of the signs and we'll focus on that, okay? So I will see you guys there. And please, if you guys like my reading or you feel like you resonated with it, you can book a private session with me down below and we can talk about any number of things. Focus on energy healing, focus on the cards. We can do tarot readings and I will give you accurate, helpful information on what it is you need to know. So, like I said, catch you guys in Pisces. Everyone take care and I will see you in just a minute. See you, D.